In this video, we'll be looking at creating fields in Navigate. We'll start from the Navigate homepage. From there, we can click into the farm we wish to create a field for. This takes us into the farm details page, which tells us all about the farm, including the fields, livestock storage, and everything else. We'll be looking at some of those other features in other videos. Looking at the fields area, we can see what fields there are for the farm. This is a newly created farm, so we have no fields at all. From there, we can press Add. This presents the dialog from where we can start creating the field. So we'll firstly enter the field name. We can set the usual purpose of the field, whether arable or grassland. This doesn't prevent us using the field for either purpose later on when we create our recommendations, but does help us to filter down the fields. We can then add the RPA land parcel number. This is used when integrating to external systems. So for example, if we are integrating to mapping software, that obviously identifies the field. Obviously the field name is not a reliable way to do so. Once we've done that, we can add the total field area. We also then have the non-spreading areas, organic and inorganic, for manures and fertilisers. So if there are restrictions on the field, for example there are watercourses or similar, you can then state how much of the field you can't spread on. A little later on in the system we can specify what the reasons are for non-spreading. You can see there is a non-spreading reasons box there, that one we can edit later on. Then state the soil type for the field. So because we linked the RB209 system, we want to know the soil group within that. We also then have the topsoil texture and subsoil type. So we'll go ahead and set this one. And then we can state the organic matter percentage for the field as well. Next up is the country. So normally the country is set to the same country as the farm itself is located in, obviously, but there are occasions where you have, for example, a border farm and you may need to relocate individual fields either side of the border. If you need to do that, you can come in here, and so for example we could locate this field in Wales as opposed to England, but most of the time you can leave this option alone. Now next up is the NVZ flag, so this indicates whether the field is in a nitrogen vulnerable zone or not. You may have noticed when we chose Wales as the country for the field that it automatically ticked that because Wales is effectively now a whole territory NVZ. For any other option, it's up to you whether you tick that or not. This one, a NVZ field. And then we have the stewardship flag, so if the field is in stewardship you can indicate that here. The system doesn't do anything particular with that. That is really for your information to know when you're reporting out in that field. Now at this point you could just go ahead and save the field with the details we've entered so far, but if you have soil analysis data for the field, we can enter that here. We have the main soil analysis and the nitrogen analysis. So we can enter a date when the analysis was taken. We can enter the pH value, and then for the P, K and mg, we can either enter the milligrams per litre value, or depending on what your particular lab sends back to you, it may send back just an index value, or sometimes they'll send back a fractional index, so 4.8 for example, so, or which corresponds back to a milligram per litre value. Either way, you can enter the value here and it will convert between the different options. Alternatively, we can just click default analysis there, and this will just fill out the fields for us. It will set the date to today's date and just set us at a midpoint on the index of 2 on each of the PK and MG. Or we can just go ahead and override that if we want to as well. Next up, we have the soil nitrogen measurement. Again, we have the date on which the analysis was taken. We can then also specify the analysis type. I'll come back to that in a moment. The depth range over which the analysis is taken. So you might have a single one of 90 centimeters, or you might have a series of profiles. And then we have the SMN value and the estimate of mineralization. As an alternative to the standard SMN measurement, there's also what's called SMN+, which differs in the way the analysis is done. If you have that, again you have the SMN value, but instead of the estimate of mineralization, you have the N-later value. And once we're happy, we can press save, and that field is now added into the system. If we want to go and check on those details, we can click on the left hand side there. This will take us into the field details page. There we can see our analyses. Later on, we can add further soil analyses as they come in. When we're creating nutrient measurement plans, it will always refer back to the most recent analysis prior to the plan for that field. We can also in here add the reasons for our non-spread. We'll state here, for example, here we've got a canal and a ditch, and now they're recorded in the system. Once we're happy for all that, we could actually just go ahead and create a recommendation directly for that field immediately. So press add in some details of what it is we are going to be growing on that field. We'll cover this in full in a separate video. There's the recommendation, and we can go in and start working on our nutrient management plan from there. So that is creating a field in NavigatePro. Thank you for watching.